Welcome to Fiery Discourse, your podcast and media featuring dragonesses, female dinosaurs, and other similar saurians and scalies. I'm your host, Ludmillanon, and with me are my co-hosts, Angron, Mathmachine and The Shark. Today is our 166th episode, and we're discussing the 1989 Super Mario Bros. Super Show episode, Toad Warriors, and EC the Extra Creepy. So, let's get things started.
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your thing's in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, so you'll be hot on the brothers. Oh!
Perfect way to start this.
Remember, folks, you do drugs, you go to hell, and then you die.
Yeah.
Better yet, if you aren't watching the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, then you'll go to hell before you die. Don't do a Goomba too, but hey.
Yep. Well, thankfully, none of us are at any risk of becoming Goombas because of this. The last time we talked about the Super Mario Bros. Super Show was for the release of the original Super Mario Bros. Movie. Not the 93 one, but the Illumination one. So we're doing this one because of the Super Mario Galaxy movie that's coming out, and we're looking forward to that because of a character who's also in this episode. It is the theatrical debut of one Birdo. We're really looking forward to seeing her, and hopefully she gets a lot of screen time on the big screen. This show begins with the Super Show rap, which is both somehow very dated, at the same time really enjoyable.
There's a reason it was referenced in the movie.
I have to admit, I do like the use of the Mario sound effects. That really was a nice touch that they did. And overall, it's one of those things where you could really tell that this could have only been made in 1989, 1990, because just a few years later, it would become really dated in a way that you don't want it to be, but at the same time, it's got a charm.
Yep.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Mhm.
It was also when Nintendo was like less strict with their IP, so you could have the characters being a bit sillier, being a bit out of character. Nowadays, your characters have to be approved by Nintendo on how they act.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, we would still be getting a lot of crazy hijinks with Nintendo characters and likely a second Captain N. But yeah, nowadays, Nintendo are a little more firm with their grip on their IPs, so there's nothing to worry about too much.
I think another reason that this works in a way that it shouldn't is Captain Lou and Danny Wells are just both so charismatic and charming that they can make these dorky things so entertaining.
Oh, easily. And that's actually part of what we're going to get to right now, because with the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, they always had two stories to them, a cartoon episode and a live action episode. And what's interesting about that is the chemistry that Danny Wells and Captain Lou Albano had. They are so good and believable. Like, imagine you live in a world where the Mario and Luigi games never existed, Nintendo never existed. They still would probably get a sitcom of this, just because of how good they play off of each other. The episode begins with the live-action portion of the episode, EC Extra Creepy. It begins with Mario telling Luigi that he's going on a date with a girl he met on a computer dating service. Luigi reads the file, reading, luxurious body hair, bulging muscles, and can bench press 500 pounds, for remarking to Mario how strange that seems. Mario says that's his information, and that he stole it from a Rambo trading card. Oh, go ahead, Angron.
Dating from a computer. Yeah, that's totally not going to be relevant nowadays.
A laugh track then plays, Scooby-Doo style, as Luigi rolls his eyes at this, then reads her information. Reading how she's an out-of-this-world girl with her head in her clouds and loves to travel, he jokes that she's actually a 747. Mario says that Luigi might make fun of her now, but when he sees her, he'll be jealous. Mario then says that his date is named EC as the building begins to shake and the power goes out. Mario says that she's there as Luigi jokes that she's driving an 18-wheeler. Mario tells Luigi to be nice to her as he says that he will, then mutters under his breath, I feel sorry for her. EC then shows up in the doorway as she's dressed in a blue leotard with silver hands. Mario asks for EC's hand, only for her to talk and move robotically, and she literally gives it to him, scaring both the brothers. And up until now, the only other robot they've ever known has been Rob, and she's a lot better looking than Rob.
Oh, yep, easily.
Indeed.
But after this, we then get the cartoon portion of the episode beginning, and one thing I always found funny, that the cartoon portion has its own separate theme song that is actually a shortened version of the other theme song, so they play it twice within the span of 5 minutes.
Now here's an interesting piece of trivia about the live-action segments. In the South Korean version of this cartoon, the actors are different. They are South Korean actors. And the invited guests are also like South Korean popular people, so Yeah, it's interesting how that country said, like, no, I want to do my own thing. I want to use my own people for these segments.
Overseas in some countries like Italy and Spain, they did not show the live action portions at all. How they did it is they just played 2 episodes of the cartoon back to back. So sadly, we do not get to see the awesomeness of the live action portions, but can't have everything. The cartoon itself begins with Mario talking in his plumber's log that King Koopa had managed to steal all of the spaghetti sauce in Carland, but a group of rebels is managing to fight back. And wow, they're in Carland. I know just who they're gonna meet. Mater, you did not help out Mario. What are you talking about? You was there too.
Yeah, I definitely would imagine that. Also, Carland. We sure this isn't the Mario Kart world in nowadays?
Well, this cartoon actually managed to predict Mario Kart, so you could add that to the notch of many things that this show actually predicted, including
Nice.
Wario. This episode is a spoof of Mad Max Road Warrior, which is a very unique choice for a cartoon, let's put it that way. I don't think too many Mario fans at that time would probably be watching Road Warrior on TV, because, yeah. The episode begins with the group driving off before a state trooper pulls them over. And of course, the state trooper is a Koopa Troopa, which, that's a cute pun right there. Mario berates Toad for driving over the speed limit before the Koopa Troopa throws a bomb at them. Mario says that he shouldn't have let Toad drive, as Toad says he did because Mario wanted a nap. But Mario, you know you should have let Toad drive, because, as we all know, I'm the best!
Nice one.
They pull over as the Koopa Troopa says that he is in car 54 and a half, womp womp, before telling King Koopa that he arrested the princess.
He's in car 54 and a half because, like the song says, he can't drive 55.
Nice. King Koopa shows up wearing a mohawk, which actually makes him look a little bit like Ludwig.
Interesting.
He tells the Koopa Troopa to lock them up and throw away the key. He tells them not to be seen again and that he has almost all the spaghetti sauce. He then says that he'll sell it back to the Toads at a high price and that he finally has the princess too, and then laughs evilly. We cut to the 4 being held up by the cop, who tells them that they can't call a lawyer or their mother. A Toad appears in a helicopter and manages to hit the Koopa cop. The Koopa Troopa hides under his car as the Mushroom Rebel Toad flies over the group, pulling down a ladder for Princess Toadstool. Mario tells her to go with the rebels as they'll catch up later. The Mushroom Rebel rides off as Toad tells him they can escape now, but the Koopa cop tells him they won't be able to, and shows him a bomb, saying that he's in enough trouble by losing the princess. And for some weird reason, one thing this show loved to do is play the actual game soundtrack. And here, for some reason, they're playing the Mario 1 castle theme. It doesn't really fit in this sequence. It feels like a bit of an odd choice.
Probably grabbed what they could like find at the moment. Like, oh, it's I don't know, a slightly tense scene, grab a tense song, and they grabbed the castle theme.
King Koopa calls the officer over, as the officer has the bomb watch them. Toad then gets an idea, and he starts insulting the bomb, calling it ugly. And there's 2 things about this part. Number 1, this actually is really funny because Toad mocks the bomb like, I've seen bombs that look better after they exploded. I bet you have to sneak up to a match to get a light. Number 2, Toad looks really off model in this part for some reason. He looks like he's a completely different character from a completely different franchise, just in this one section. The shape of his head just looks so weird. I mean, Deke was never known for having the most quality animation, but this is really weird, even for them. It's not as bad as Mario World, though. Nothing could be as bad as Mario World.
For relevance here, insulting a bomb to try and get it to explode only works because bombs are notorious for having short fuses.
This thing with the, oh, we're gonna count the bomb so we can escape, it reminds me of a Fairly Odd Parents episode with the one where they become superheroes and they lock Crimson Chin and the guy who's watching him is like a tiny bomb dude. And yeah, it's basically like this. Crimson Chin counts him until he explodes and blows up the cage.
Huh, wonder if they got that from this.
Maybe.
The bomb gets enraged at this and lights up as the trio tries to run for it. The Koopa cop walks up to the bomb, yelling at it for being so stupid before seeing its fuse about to go off. He manages to leap at it in time, preventing it from exploding. We cut to Princess Toadstool going to the rebel base as the rebels cheer, and this is a moment that is unintentionally funny. And this is because, number 1, these guys cheer with reused animation of a loop that's about 2 seconds long. Number 2, they sound so flat. Here is a direct replica of how they sound like, yeah, Princess Toadstool, yeah, save us, yeah. Like, Deke could not have gotten worse voice actors if they tried to appear like they're impressed. Obviously, these guys would have been more enthusiastic if somebody else showed up. Hey, everybody! Kevin's back! Kevin, we love you, Kevin! Kevin, please!
Nice.
We got to King Kubu with a bunch of his other henchmen in cars as he tells them that Princess Toadstool is in that fort and for them to attack. They all drive off as Princess Toadstool says they have to stop them before our friends get there. In a really cute reference, the Toads all begin throwing Super Mario Bros. 2 vegetables at the cars, knocking a Koopa Troopa out of it. Also, one of the Troopas uses a gun that looks exactly like Tri-Clyde from Mario Bros. 2, and not just like, oh, it's a little bit like it. It looks like they drew over the sprite, which is very interesting.
Huh.
The Toads also throw vegetables at Mouser's car, causing him to nearly tip over. What's weird here is Mouser has a German accent, which is weird for me because I'm more used to his Rizzo the Rat type voice from Mario Advanced. So I guess hearing him with that kind of voice, it doesn't really click for me, but I can see why it works.
So I think I have an explanation for why Mouser has a German accent in this show. Mouser obviously is a pun on mouse, but also I'm pretty sure Deke initially heard it as Mauser, the German gun. So like, he must be German. For any other studio, I would say that this is completely inane and idiotic and there's no possible way. But for Deke, this actually tracks.
Yeah.
True. Go on, Angron.
Hearing this reminded me of Werner Vermin from Cuphead, which, yeah, you draw the similarities between the two there.
That is also very true. King Koopa then laments he spent so many coins on Mouser's driver ed class, and at least it's not as expensive as SpongeBob's driver ed classes.
Yeah.
A trio of Birdos then fire eggs at the rebel base, causing it to get damaged. Princess Toadstool sees this and says they need help, to which I have to say, thank you, Princess Obvious. We then cut to Mario, Luigi, and Toad driving along, as Mario talks about how it's good to have the wind in your face and the open road ahead. And one thing to point out, Deke actually uses looping backgrounds here, much like Hanna-Barbera used to, and you can actually see where the loop stops and starts again. And it is so weird, because that's something that I have not seen in animation in a long time, so...
So Mario Media utilizing something from Hanna-Barbera. Boy, my granddad will enjoy this.
True.
Yeah.
Toadstool then calls him on the radio, saying that they need help. Mario decides to push the pedal to the metal, and sadly, this does not mean he becomes Metal Mario. He does pull a lever and the car begins to zoom off. We cut back to the rebel base as King Koopa watches the attacks from a pair of binoculars. Mouser comes up to him and tells him that Mario, Luigi, and Toad has escaped, as King Koopa says they won't stop him. He tells Mouser to prepare an ambush on the brothers, and we then cut to the trio driving off as a group of cars drives closer. Toad tells Mario to look in the rearview mirror. In probably the best joke of the episode, Mario does so and says, "Wow, I do look handsome." Captain Lou is really such a perfect fit for this iteration of Mario. He gets the character in a way that really feels ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Indeed.
Yep.
Mario then notices the other cars as they all begin to panic. Then a large truck blocks their path. Mario tells the other two to get ready to jump as they do so, leaping high above the clouds. The trio are then launched into outer space as they see a star and then grab it. And I would say this, Rosalina watched all of this going on, but she didn't think to help them? Some friend she is. The Toads then prepare a group of mattresses for the trio to land on, as Koopa says, "I've heard of falling stars, but plummeting plumbers?" in confusion. The trio land on the mattresses safely, as a group of Toads all cheer for Luigi, which also uses reused animation and stock sound effects that really also has not aged well, let's put it that way. King Koopa is upset at this, and tells the others to bring him the Thunder Birdo, and that is the reason we are discussing this episode in particular, because Thunder Birdo is a giant Birdo on a platform, and basically, she is just Master Blaster. So they actually got her as a Mad Max character in here, and making her as Master Blaster isn't a bad choice, but it would have been way better if they made her Auntie from Beyond Thunderdome instead. We could have had a group of Shy Guys chant, "This is as far as you go. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves."
Nice. Okay, first, it honestly would have sounded better if Birdo said it. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. for obvious reasons. Second, not gonna lie, I hear Master Blaster, and I think apparently they were able to fit in a Sunsoft reference in a Nintendo product.
Not to get too far ahead into like the character rating and all that stuff, I'm kind of curious how Deke was able to make the Birdo here look more like Birdo when she's effectively a gun compared to the Birdo character that they had in another episode that looked like, well, the abomination that we talked about before.
That was the first Mario episode we talked about, and yeah, Birdo in that one is not going to get as high of a score as this one, even though this one doesn't really even have a character, which tells you a lot about character design. One thing to point out, because Deke is notable for this, there is an animation error. When we first see Thunder Birdo, she's actually colored green. Thunder Birdo then shoots a giant egg at the base, causing it to explode upon impact as King Koopa laughs evilly. Oh, go ahead, Shark.
The surprising thing here is that it's not that Dick make an animation error. The surprising thing is that we spotted an animation error this late into the episode.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, they must be getting better then.
Indeed.
After a bumper of Mario saying, "We'll be right back, paisanos," we cut to Mouser telling Koopa that they should go right in and get them. Koopa tells him to wait, saying that those plumbers are tricky. It could be a sink trap. Womp womp. We then see the damaged rebel base as the group all comes out of their hiding spots. Princess Toadstool tells them that King Koopa will be swarming over them any minute now. They had to make decoys so that the rebels can escape. Mario says they don't have anything, as Princess Toadstool points out that they have the giant truck of spaghetti sauce. Obviously, they need the spaghetti sauce for one reason and one reason only. If they don't have it, how can Luigi have his lots of spaghetti?
Nice.
Toadstool says that she and Mario will drive in the truck and Luigi will drive in the helicopter. Luigi nervously says he doesn't know how to drive a helicopter, as Toadstool tells one of the Toads to help teach him how to do it. This is the first time Luigi was depicted as being slightly more cowardly than Mario, at least in a Western sense, because the Mario OVA did it before this, but it's interesting how both animated versions tied into something that would become canon in the games later on.
To be fair, the Luigi in the OVA is something that will eventually become Wario, more than a cowardly Luigi.
Toad then shows Princess Toadstool the star he has and asks what he could do with it. And obviously I know what he could do with it. He can hold it until chance time.
Nice.
Toad says that with the star, he can do anything, and he becomes the Toad Warrior. And Toad then transforms into the Toad Warrior, which I'm not going to try and imitate his voice because I don't want to blow out my own, but when he screams Toad Warrior, he sounds exactly like the modern day Toad from the games. It is so weird. I really do think Nintendo partially based Toad's current voice on the voice actor from the show, because it is so eerily similar in a lot of ways.
When Toad is transforming, they do a He-Man parody, like by the Power of Grayskull thing. I'm going to give Deke a little bit of credit here. I think that this transformation sound and effect is probably going to be better than the live-action He-Man movie that's coming out soon.
Hey, every movie would be better if it starred Toad, because that little dude's a menace. Toad has managed to transform, now with a biker's jacket and on a motorbike, and obviously, he stole this from Wario, but it's okay because Wario died today anyway, so he wasn't going to use it.
Yeah, but it will explain the future rivalry he will have with him in Wario's Woods.
That's true, that's true. Toad goes on to say that he's the fantastic fungus, the super cool mushroom of might, as the other Toads all cheer at this. Obviously, Toad got this motorbike to train for Mario Kart Wii. That's the only explanation. Mario remarks that Toad is watching too much TV, as Toad tells the other ones to give him a 5. At first, he gets a high 5, but then tells them to give him 5 bombs as the rebel base is then struck again. Princess Toadstool tells them to hit the road, as Toad tells her, "Will do, doll face." And obviously, this is why Toad isn't in Smash. She got so offended by this, she ripped up his invitation.
Oh, wow. Also, coming back to the high five moment, I mean, the other Toad should have known that Toad wasn't asking for that and was asking for bombs. The characters in this cartoon only have 4 fingers.
Mouser then tells King Koopa they should go in right now because they're not even firing back. King Koopa then lets his henchmen move in before they then nearly get run over by the truck, as Mario jokes for him to use the crosswalk. Koopa then yells at his henchmen to get them, before Luigi hits him in the head with the helicopter, causing Koopa to yell even louder. Toad nearly runs him over as well, causing Koopa to yell to get all of them. We cut to Mario, Luigi, and Princess Toadstool all driving along before Koopa's henchmen arrive. A Koopa Troopa throws a bomb in the truck, as Mario and the princess stare at it. Another Koopa drives by as they throw the bomb in his truck, causing it to explode. And this episode is mostly a spoof of Mad Max Road Warrior, but this moment is a direct parody of a moment from Death Race 2000, where Frankenstein takes the hand grenade and throws it in Machine Gun Joe's car. So I was not expecting Mario to reference Death Race 2000, but there you go.
Yeah, pretty ironic how this show took reference from everything else, but Illumination would take reference from this show of all places. Funny how that cycle works sometimes.
Luigi manages to dodge an albatross. He then manages to hit another Koopa, then puts a no Koopa sign on his helicopter. A trio of Birdos hit the spaghetti sauce truck as Princess Toadstool nearly falls out of it. Luigi manages to save her by dropping a bomb on the car, blowing it up. Toadstool waves at Luigi as he puts another sign on the copter. King Koopa has his henchmen continue to follow them, but Toad rides up next to him. Toad asks him, "Wanna drag?" and runs dust in his face, causing Koopa to cough and say, "No miserable mushroom can beat Koopa in a race." Mouser, driving with Birdo, pushes his way past the others as Toadstool opens the door, saying how she'll take care of the racer rat. A Koopa tries to climb aboard the truck, only for Toadstool to throw a bomb on him, causing him and his car to explode. Man, this episode has a lot of fatalities in it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like, we see all these cars explode, and they don't get back up, they don't look okay. It's like, no, Mario, Luigi, the Princess, and Toad are actually wasting these guys.
Yeah, like, no joke. The only other thing in a Mario game that would be this brutal would be the Mario movie, which, yeah, speaking of taking stuff from this show.
Mouser drives up with Birdo again, telling her that he'll blow the truck off the road. She replies by saying, and this is a direct quote, "That's what you think, yo," and then throws the entire bag of bombs in Birdo's mouth. And a really neat touch they didn't have to do, but I'm glad they did. She actually looks shocked by this. They gave her a personality that they didn't have to do. The fact that they did actually kind of works in their favor.
I mean, of course she's in shock because what happens next can be quite brutal, honestly.
As Mouser screams, Birdo is then drawn green yet again, so Deke made the same mistake twice, so what does that tell you about them? The truck then blows up, sending him blasting away, and no sign of Birdo. They took her out. Wow, I was not expecting that.
Yep, she did.
Exactly. It's like, I have to give Deke credit because this hasn't as much violence as Mad Max Road Warrior, at least for the target audience.
All I could hear in my head as Mouser was being blown away was, "Looks like Team Koopa's blasting off again."
Nice, nice. Toadstool cheers at this as Mouser flies past Luigi, who hands him a bomb, to which I have to say, man, that's just insult to injury, isn't it? Toad and Koopa then ride along each other as Toad makes a bet with Koopa. Whoever manages to get to the canyon first gets the spaghetti sauce. Koopa agrees and says that it won't be Toad. Princess Toadstool says they got the rest of Koopa's minions, but wonders what happened to him. Toad and Koopa ride closer to the canyon, as Koopa says they'll play chicken. Toad says whichever one of them slows down first loses. Mario, Luigi, and Toadstool are shocked at this, as the two then jump the canyon. However, Koopa doesn't make it and crashes into the side of it. But that's not all, because the Koopa Troopers then put him inside of an ambulance, but the little Goomba that's driving it crashes into a cactus, and King Koopa goes over the canyon again.
Yikes.
Sadly, that does not happen, although that would be amazing if it did. What actually happens is Koopa then parachutes out and vows revenge before landing in the nearby lake. Oh, go ahead, Math.
I can hear some people asking, why would King Koopa have a parachute when he's in the middle of a desert and he was just driving a car? Well, you see, he watched a lot of Wile E. Coyote cartoons, so he knew always pack a parachute when you're in a desert.
Nice.
I'm prepared.
The star power then manages to run out. causing Toad to go back to normal. And in a cute joke, his badass motorcycle is actually a little tricycle. Toad is sad that he's not the Toad Warrior anymore, as Mario runs up and congratulates him. Toadstool thanks all of them for saving her people and says that everybody can have spaghetti sauce. Mario is excited to hear this and runs up to the truck, saying that he's been eating dry pasta for weeks. Toadstool tries to warn him, but Mario doesn't listen, opening up the valve of spaghetti sauce. The cartoon ends with Mario getting sprayed in the face with the spaghetti sauce, and everyone else laughs at him. Yeah, that's pretty much how every episode of the Super Mario Brothers cartoons ended, with them all laughing at some kind of lame pun or lame slapstick moment. We then get back to the live action portion, as EC continues to walk around robotically, with Luigi noting how weird EC is. Mario says that EC is beautiful, she has a great sense of humor, and she has a 2-year warranty, so there's no problem with her. Oh, go ahead, Angron.
Yeah. First Mad Max, then Death Race 2000. Now we're taking stuff from Weird Science. What else is this show taken from?
That's what this show does best, just rip off a lot of movies. Sometimes with the movie's actual actors. Looking at you, Slimebusters.
Yeah.
Luigi says that he checked their car and saw that there was no license plates, and when one of their neighbors touched the fender, it turned them into dust. Mario notes that it might be a new burglar alarm, as EC repeatedly says, "Nice place you've got here," while holding a wrench and seizing up. She then begins to eat the wrench as Luigi notes this. Mario says he doesn't care as he's in love, as Luigi quips, "Mario, you're in love with a nightlight." EC then grabs a light bulb and manages to turn it on, to which I have to say, hey, I didn't know EC was just Eve in human form.
I'm also going to give the woman playing EC a lot of credit here. She is doing a fantastic job of just fully channeling how goofy and stupid the live action segments are, and she is so entertaining during all of this.
Oh, that's one thing with the live action segments of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. All of the actors in it gave it their all. And they actually had some pretty big name stars like Cyndi Lauper, and no one on that portion at least was half-assing it. A Mario head transitions us to the next scene, and no, it is not Mario head from Mario Teaches Typing, although it'd be great if it was. As EC is smooshing Mario's face. She tells them that she has to leave to her home planet to watch more scenes from the new Legend of Zelda cartoon. We then get an extended preview of the next episode, which we're going to skip over because it's not really relevant to the podcast, although I do want to point out it does have a dragon in it. Sadly not a dragoness, but well, can't have everything. After the preview of The Legend of Zelda, we cut to Luigi looking in a periscope, wondering where Mario is. He then sees a spaceship, which actually is stock footage from the old Flash Gordon serials of the spaceship from that, which actually got a good laugh out of me, always seeing that kind of footage. He says that he hopes Mario isn't up there as the apartment begins to shake. Mario shows up carrying EC as he jokes that when she goes over the Brooklyn Bridge, she really goes over the bridge. Luigi notes how he's carrying EC and hopes that he didn't marry her. Mario puts her down and says that he couldn't do it because of a blood test. He was A positive and she was 30 weight oil. Womp womp. Luigi then finally realizes that Mario's computer date is actually a computer, something that Plankton can definitely relate to.
Yeah.
Right.
A voice then says that all robots must return to the spaceship and depart, as Brooklyn turns out to have no suitable life for them. EC says that she must leave, as Mario asks if he can have something to remember her by.
I'd like to point out, I realized something while watching this live action segment. Somehow, the live action Super Mario segment predicted Super Mario Galaxy.
In a way, it kind of did. EC then decides to literally give Mario her robotic heart as she leaves. As she does so, Mario then asks if Luigi is jealous. After Luigi says yes, the episode ends with Mario telling Luigi to eat your heart out as they both share a laugh together. The episode then ends with Mario, Luigi, and EC telling everybody to do the Mario before we then get the end credits of Do the Mario, which is probably the greatest song ever written, because how else would you know to swing your arms from side to side? Or take one step and then again.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
I've never been able to do this dance properly because I can't figure out how to teleport randomly.
Nice.
Well, that's true.
True. Do the Mario is actually Mario's walk cycle from the games. That's actually what the lyrics is about. It's literally describing Mario's walk cycle in the original NES Mario game. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, that's it for this episode. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show was actually a huge ratings hit. Critically, it was mixed, but ratings-wise, it was a smash. The only reason it didn't get a second season is because Nintendo didn't think it was worth it, at least according to Danny Wells. Despite this, I think this is easily the best Super Mario cartoon, which, looking at the competition, that's not a high bar, but still a good one regardless. And I think it's because of two things. Number one, the writing is silly, but at least it works a little bit better, I think, than the other two, which tried to be a bit more serious and didn't really click for it. And number two, as we mentioned earlier, is Captain Lou and Danny Wells, because these guys were practically born to be Mario and Luigi. That's going to lead in the question of the week, which is, what is your favorite Mario character? And by that, we mean mainline Mario characters. You can't pull a Schaeferillis and say, oh, my favorite Mario character is Kirby, or my favorite Mario character is Captain Olimar because they made appearances. No, we're just talking actual Mario characters. With that being said, my favorite character is probably going to be an interesting one because there are so many options I could give for it because there are so many characters, but I can think of only one that I really, really, truly enjoy. And that is actually going to be Mario's brother Luigi, because he is such a great character. He originally started off as the player 2 palette swap of Mario. He didn't really have that much of a character outside of other material, for example, the comics or these kind of cartoons. But ever since Luigi's Mansion in 2001, which I personally think is one of the best, not just Mario games, one of the best Nintendo games, period. They have done so much to flesh out his character. It is absolutely amazing. Of course, we have Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi franchise to help as well, because Luigi is such a great character because I feel like Mario is the everyman. Mario is the, idealistic hero type in that. But Luigi has a little bit more flaws to him with being cowardly, but yet he still stands up for his brother. If you look at him in Luigi Mansion, he fights an entire mansion of ghosts just to save his brother, showing the bond between them. And no, the Mario Power Tennis teasing does not count. Stop saying it does.
Yeah, not to mention, ever since 2011, Luigi's gotten a little less cowardly in years and a lot more bolder. Yeah, there are a few moments where he rebounds, Paper Jam. I will say that as a whole, Luigi has come a long way from being the meeker of the twin brothers, and here's hoping that stuff like the Mario Galaxy movie build upon that.
Oh, easily, because I have to agree with you there. With you said, Luigi's character has improved, but at the same time, he has a bit more of a realism to him that I do like. I'm not saying I don't like Mario. Far from it. Mario is probably my second favorite because he is also a great, great iconic character. But I don't know, there's something about Luigi that is just a little bit better. But no, that's just me. Yeah, my pick is going to be Luigi, and if I have to give a second choice, it would probably be the polar opposite of Luigi. Wow, Luigi! Partially because of the memes, partially because of how just unhinged he is. He's only been in the spin-off games, but I absolutely love just how crazy he acts. Look at him in Mario DDR, or, for example, the racing games. He really deserves his time in the spotlight, and if Nintendo was smart, they would have given him a role in the new 2D game, but, well, maybe someday. But yeah, that's going to be my choices. My all-time favorite is going to be Luigi. So, Angron, what would your pick be?
A lot of you probably assume someone like Princess Peach because of a certain power-up that grants her immense strength at the cost of being a little too big. Not too big for Smash, but still. Be that as it may, however, I mean, her character is pretty great. It's pretty divisive. It's throughout the games and franchise, it has been a little bit off. And as a whole, the main characters in Mario, they're not bad. I can definitely get behind them. I definitely want to see them win, but I'll be perfectly honest, they are nothing without the people who are the opposite of them and who stand against them. Two of the Mario World villains shine very brightly, in my opinion. The first, well, let's be perfectly honest, is gonna be Bowser. This guy kind of goes back and forth between being badass and being just an utter goofball. That's not just what he is, though. He's not just a Giga Chad with muscles and a Wile E. Coyote fail rate the size of Mount Mushmore. He's also quite caring. He's also quite a dependable leader. Like, you see leaders like Megatron and Dr. Eggman and Dr. Wily, and you think, wow, those guys are kind of incompetent. And while Bowser still is incompetent, he's honestly still a lot more caring and a lot more direct with his troops than one would think. Biggest example of this being Bowser's Inside Story and Brothership. There are legit moments where he actually takes his minions into battle and directs them. You legit hear from one of Bowser's minions, Kamek, that this guy legit wants his troops to get better. He wants them to succeed. He basically wants them because to him, they're pretty much his family. And seeing as how Bowser is pretty much a dad, that makes all the sense, let's be perfectly honest. Number 2 comes all the way from Congo Bongo Island by technicality alone. And that would be the feared Kremlin captain / king / kooky professor, yada yada yada, fricking King K. Rool. This guy has gone through a journey all the way up until the N64. This guy has been bouncing back and forth between the show, between the game. Rare and Nintendo used this guy to the fullest for the most part. Can't speak much about the Game Boy games, but yeah, those SNES games and the N64 game, they absolutely made him quite the powerful menace. There's also some charm to be had with the Donkey Kong Country show. I still like him, and I very much think that in spite of him being an absolutely savage and oftentimes unhinged motherfucker, he also has a bit of an intelligent edge to him that makes him both calculating as well as just downright crazy at times. And again, this is very much highlighted in the cartoon, but it's also highlighted in an animated music video, Tip the Scales. Yeah, if you know what that's all about, then I can assure you that this guy, no joke, has definitely earned his place not only as one of my favorite Mario villains, he also is my favorite Smash Bros. Character, fun fact. He definitely deserves Smash Bros. Ultimate, and he definitely deserved, minor spoiler for a recent game, his comeback in the latest Donkey Kong game. Not gonna spoil how, not gonna spoil where, but trust me, keep an eye out for the Kremlin King. So yeah, those are gonna be my 2 picks.
Those are great choices right there. Like you said, the Mario villains are some of the best in the franchise, and especially with Bowser, the Mario and Luigi RPGs in particular really give him such a great character. And as for K. Rool, sadly, we might not be able to get to talk about Donkey Kong's and Donkey Kong Country anytime soon, but at least he is a great villain. And in the latest Donkey Kong game, he is just... So, let's see, Mathwood, your pick B.
Mine is actually also going to be Bowser for a very weird and specific reason. So, Bowser has had a weird evolution as far as Nintendo is concerned. He started out as just the antagonist, Mario's villain, the guy that was capturing the princess, all that. As the years have gone on, he's become, and this is why he's my favorite, very good dad. He is the only Mario character, like the only main Mario character, who is shown to be a parent to the degree that every time there are those parental instruction videos for a Nintendo console or other Nintendo products, it's always Bowser and Bowser Jr. And the fact that they've shown that he is such a good parental figure and they have kept that trend rolling throughout the years, I really like that. I don't know why, just seeing a villain just become a really good, nice, caring father, while still being a villain, of course, is such a weird twist that just I really like and enjoy for his character.
Yeah, I do like that too, especially I think that really picked up with the release of the Nintendo Parental Direct video, because that really shows what a good father Bowser can be. He's still an evil father, but he's also a good father, if you catch my drift.
Yep.
So, let's see, Shuckle, your pick B for your favorite Mario character.
I assume all of you have at some point seen one of those videos of, oh, what does your Mario man in Mario Kart or Mario Party says about you? And all of them always say the same thing about a certain character. And their statement is something I disagree a lot of. Guys, my favorite Mario character of the Mario franchise is Mario himself. Nope, he is not a boring character. There's a reason he's the star. Like, you know, he's an icon. He's definitely not only the face of the Mario franchise, but video games in general. And like, yeah, he's a fun guy. I know, the woohoo, yahoo. It's iconic voice, iconic adventures, and there's more to him than what those people say. Like, he's a nice guy, he's brave, he's courageous. It's just like, okay, maybe you think it's like the default because you see him all the time. Like, oh, the consensus is like, oh, if you can play up any character in this game, why would you pick Mario? And it's like, because it's Mario. Come on, Mario's like the most fun person you probably meet him if he really existed. Like, he will take you to some great places, he will play games with you. He's like that cool uncle, basically. So, yeah, I don't see why do people really disagree with, oh no, don't pick Mario, or oh, Mario's just like, oh, a character with no character. It's like, no, he's not. The irony here is that people that say like, oh, Luigi's underrated brother because everybody chooses Mario and Luigi nobody picks. Like, I'd say it's the opposite nowadays. Everybody picks Luigi, and Mario is the actual underrated brother, ironically enough.
That is true. That is true. It makes me feel a little bit bad about my choice now. But I have to say, Mario really is underrated, like you said, ironically enough, because he is the main brother. But yeah, I have to admit, Mario is a character who the reason he works is because of his simplicity in a way. I think the best way to compare him is, unlike Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario has never tried to appear cool or hip or anything like that. He doesn't like break dance, he doesn't rap, he doesn't do like anything out of the ordinary. He's just Mario. He knows he's himself and he hasn't had to change, which I think works way better and is probably why Mario has aged a lot better than some of the Sonic material.
Yeah. So yep, Mr. Wahoo Man himself.
Let's see, now it is time for our patent pending Dragoness Scale, where we are going to rank none other than Birdo. I'll go first, and well, in terms of design, they actually got Birdo to look like Birdo, because the first time we covered Birdo, she looked so unlike Birdo. She looked a little bit more like the aardvark from the Pink Panther more than Birdo, so the fact they got her right here says something. So design point is pretty good. In terms of characterization, as I said earlier, I do like that they actually gave her some semblance of a character, and the fact that she's not just, giant monster. She actually does react to things, and she is a pretty good adaptation of Birdo as she is in the original Mario Bros. 2. Like, taking it in a vacuum, when this came out in 1989, before anything else Mario related aside from Super Mario Bros. And Super Mario Bros. 2 exists. They did a really good job at adapting her. So with that being said, I can't give her too high of a score. I actually might go with 7 out of 10 just because I actually like what they did with her. Again, you have to look at it as how it is a reflection of Birdo as a character, and she's not the most characterized character, but with that being said, they did the best they could with what they had from the games. So, let's see, Angron, what would you give her?
I'm probably going to go with a 7 out of 10 with her as well. Don't get me wrong, I still like the first Birdo we covered on this show. I will admit that here, Birdo is a little bit more in her element. She's not really giant monster, but she more or less is a tool. Tool with feelings, like something like Caliburn from Sonic and Black Knight and Cappy from Mario Odyssey. But yeah, she's still a tool. It doesn't really detract her character or anything. It does kind of make her a little limited on what they ultimately did. And like you said, they did a lot with what they were given. But yeah, I can't really give her anything other than a 7 as well.
Let's see. Math, what would you give her?
I'm going slightly lower with a 6. So, first off, design, 5 out of 5, especially compared to the last time that we talked about a Birdo. For the love of God, please don't change a thing. So, great look there. Actually does look like a Birdo. A more early Birdo before they sort of fleshed out her character design, but we're basing this off of the early game Birdo, so I give you credit there. What kills it for me is it's not really lack of character, it's that she does have a character, and that character is Gun. She's Gun. She's just literally a big boomstick. Like, there's not really any personality or anything here. She is just a weapon that is used against the main cast. So that's kind of what kills it for the personality department, which is why I landed around a 6.
I understand exactly why. Let's see, Shark, what would you give her?
I mean, I do like that. Unlike the other Birdo, as you were saying, she actually looks like Birdo. She does have character because, as you said, she reacts, and the concept of using Birdos like a Mad Max gun is like very cool and very clever, honestly. I think the only thing that I will say kind of annoys me, or like I kind of miss it, and considering this is Dick, it kind of makes sense, is that If you look at the episode, she's like static through most of it. She doesn't move at all. Like when she shoots, she could have like crouched a little bit or at least blink or something like that. But no, she's honestly a statue for most of the episode until they throw the bombs into her mouth. So it is kind of distracting a bit. So I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10 for her.
Okay.
I might also go with 6 as well. She's not bad, but yeah, could have been a little better.
So that's going to be it for this week. If you have any questions, or if you want to see how Mad Max Fury Road would go if it started the talking flower, you can feel free to email us at fiorydiscourse@outlook.com. Visit us at Twitter at twitter.com/fiorydiscourse. Visit us at Blue Sky Fiery Discourse. Be sure to subscribe to the Fiery Discourse YouTube channel and like and hit the bell icon. Subscribe to the playlist. Leave a comment. Any all comments are appreciated. Next week, we're going to be talking about the 1978 sci-fi movie Laser Blast. It's going to be very interesting because we get to see the work of one Mr. Dave Allen yet again.
Yep.
Then there's also going to be lots and lots of explosions to talk about, so that'll be pretty interesting too. That'll be it for this week, and until then, thank you all so much for listening, and take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for making our episode.
Adios. See you all next week.